We'll give a minute for everybody to get in. Sorry, I had a bit of a slow start. That is my fault. It's always when you're connecting to people over the internet, a little bit of a magic trick to get everything working. But it appears to be working. I think I have the chat going. Welcome, Monday Night World Champions. Anybody out there that happens to be watching. This is going to be a continuation of last week's Manthropology with a very special guest tonight. My buddy Mal. What's going on, Mal?
Yodels. Thanks for having me, man.
How do you pronounce it? Mal.
It'll be fun. Mal. As in Malcolm.
So you had caught, I think, a replay. We don't need that much jungle. Hold on. There we go. It's a little less jungle. Yes, and I'll say hi to you, chat, in a minute. But you had caught a bit of the replay, and you sent me some good thoughts. I had your exact I was using your DM on X as the outline for the. Here we go. I'm listening to last night's show, Anthropology. I have a lot to say on melancholy, crime, honor, false empathy, force doctrine, return to primal, parentheses, base God design, experience in all this life story type of shit. Then, music, / the psyop of internet success being something that's even possible for a musician. That was a great line. I'd love to talk about that.
Thanks.
And, of course, our overarching goofy Socratic shit we do here on this channel, which is, what is the problem? What is the problem? A return to getting, this is still you, final paragraph, final stanza. A return to getting dopamine from actual achievement, hunting. Example, in order for that to work, we must honor those that do. We currently honor those that clickbait that they do. And I thought that was a great sentence as well. So, Mal, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself in any way.
Yeah, sure. My name's Mal. I've been an interwebs droog for a good while. Caught John Ward's content back in 2017. And made a big old bunch of memes, little splashes here and there. And now I am focused heavily on making music and just started my career as a guitar builder, meaning I'm a complete novice. And so busted my ass all day, got good and sweaty. If you could smell me through the screen, you'd say, go take a shower.
You were building one today, right before this, you're saying?
I was building a jig, planing jig.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. All right, yeah. Right on. Do you have is there something within arm's reach you can hold up? Some kind of miniature mock-up that you did?
Yeah, what's that?
That is pretty sweet. And what's going on, chat? By the way, there you go. The Mal body style that looks a little Les Paul meets something.
There we go.
That's pretty sick. What kind of wood is that?
That is rosewood.
Damn.
Or is this Paduke? I can't remember. This was something I started long ago. I used a freaking angle grinder to do that, like a wild man, and then just meticulous sanding brought it to a point where it was presentable.
That is honestly pretty sick. So you're going to do all the electronics and everything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to tech guitars, repair guitars, electric, acoustic. There for a minute, I worked for a collector who had probably 400 guitars, one of which worth over 6 figures.
Yeah, I believe
I literally pulled insurance before I'd work on it. I did. It wasn't even expensive. It cost me like $110 or something, and I think I charged him probably $500 for repairing it. So it was a win. But yeah, some of the axes that came through my, little makeshift garage shop were, 5 figures easy. But that French parlor guitar that was 130 years old or something like that, that one was the kicker. That's the one that made me afraid, because I had to fabricate bridge parts for it and all kinds of crazy shit.
That is pretty fucking awesome, honestly.
Thanks, man.
Threw me off because now I just want to talk about that. But I guess to stay
sure.
somewhat on point of I'm genuinely curious to your thoughts, and maybe we start with what you said about being a musician. Let me read your exact words here one more time.
Sure.
Music / the topic of music. The psyop of internet success being something that's even possible for a musician. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's mostly me being, I don't know, mad. I mean, we've got we've got Beyonce, the country music award winner. I mean, she is amazing. She is a fan-fucking-tastic musician. And she's got that red dirt in her veins, don't you know?
Forgot about that.
And I look at something like that, and I've busted my ass since I was a pimple-faced teenager as a guitar player. And it just gotta be real. It just fucks with me. It fucks with my head. That kind of shit is what is fucking popular. I just want 10,000 people to like me.
I almost just fucking died.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. So I guess translating that into slightly more normie language is just that everything is gatekept now, is what you're saying,
yes,
right?
it fucking is what I'm saying.
You have cartoons, literal cartoons like Beyonce and my winning country music and all you're looking for is a few thousand people to enjoy it. Well, you do. I forgot to mention, you guys do a live stream. I don't know. What just happened to us?
I don't know. What did just happen to us?
That's you. You transported into Interstellar.
Yep. I'll fix it.
Oh, did your phone fall or did I do something?
No, it's my bad. My phone went to sleep. I forgot to set that. Yeah, I'm using my phone as my camera guide.
I gotta say, Beyonce's phone doesn't do this. Maybe that's the.
Oh my gosh!
There you go.
All right, shit is working. This is my desk, y'all. Check out my desk. This is the super professional way of marking where your mic preamp gain settings should be.
This looks like not terribly dissimilar from my desk. Tell you the truth.
And this is a dinar, 2,000-year-old dinar.
Dude, that's so crazy because I just got. Dinar is what? What is that? That's
denarius.
Oh
dinar,
yeah,
no, dinar.
I literally just got two of those myself. I got one is about 1900s. It's 76 AD. It's Titus.
Hey, can you hide my camera? I have to since we're
yeah.
There we go.
But he's talking about these. You can get these. The Romans made coins, and they made quite a lot of them. Thank you, William Maines. No, I'm sorry, William Jefferson Clinton. Hickory dickory dock. Monica loves Grandpa's cock. It's good to have you. I might have a beer somewhere around here I can chug if I can find one, but we're just taking it easy today. Ryan Mobley says messy desk equals high IQ. In fact, let me say hi to the chat here while you get your camera set back up. I said I would, and I forgot. So starting at the top, RBK2. I'm a Gen Zer, and I can't agree more. I kind of forget what we were talking about there, but I agree with what you're agreeing with. What's going on, Zeb? What's going on, William Barry? Music has always been that way. The crap always rises to the top. So we have some viewers' attention on this topic. And just give me a shout whenever you're ready to go, Mal.
I'm good.
Oh, you're good. Okay. I don't want to hide you too long. I think this should be fine. Yeah, nice. Okay, so, you were talking about the psyop of regular people like you and me being able to make any kind of impact on the internet or in the music industry or get radio play or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's there seems to be a attitude presented from music execs, highly successful musicians, and musicians like the guy that talked about the rich men in Richmond.
Oliver Anthony.
Yeah, that's the one. And hey, I really dig the tune. It was cool. But that is like getting struck by lightning, what that guy got, apparently. I appear to be algorithmically, and many musicians appear to be algorithmically completely shadow banned.
Well, I just want to speak in your defense here for a second, too, because the average asshole, and I would be one of these average assholes if I didn't know you, I'd be like, well, maybe your music just isn't any fucking good. No, you're unbelievably talented. I finally got to watch Atomic Amy. That's what I was starting to fucking plug you there. Every, what is it? Is it Tuesdays and Thursdays, you guys?
No, every Thursday.
Thursday.
You remember in Tuesdays because I wasn't available on Tuesdays because I bust my ass practicing on Tuesday nights, Wednesday, and then I play Thursday.
So Atomic Annie is a band, and you guys have a X account that you stream to? Do you stream to YouTube also?
Sure do. On X, it is Atomic Annie OP1, numeral 1.
I'll pull you up here.
Funny enough, Mr. Ward, the name came from your chat.
Atomic
There was one feller by the name of Pictish that was educating us.
Of course.
On the Atomic Annie M65 mobile nuke launcher.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And I said, that would make a fucking great band name. I'm going to use that. And Pictish said, and I'm sure his voice, well, then just fucking do it then.
That's great. If any, I think a lot of you out there know and remember Pictish. He only will watch on Raw. He reminds me of the Deacon, honestly. He's like kind of the same dude in a different way. But he's this old Scottish bastard, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah. Picked. He would correct you.
I'm a big fan of people who stand by their opinions, even if they're too much for some people sometime. But someday we'll entice him back over to YouTube. But I think he was pretty much done with YouTube. I'm stalling here because I almost have. I think I have it here. There you are.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay,
and
so
click the link there, and there's
Atomic Annie. Instrument. Here we go. Yes. So these live streams are insane.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
that's me.
Yeah, I think this is the one I watched. Who is this guy?
That's my buddy Tavian. He's a fucking mad scientist. Do you see that rig around him?
I was just, what the fuck? Holy shit.
That damn thing is a spaceship, John. Honestly, if you're ever in Dallas, you got to come see it. It's modular synth.
I wanted to be
synth.
there. And then I kind of trolled you guys about playing some like stupid, really simple song after this insane shit, and you guys appropriately ignored me. But yeah, give it a check out. And so I asked you a couple months back, and understanding the creative process myself, I haven't even like started filming anything that all those ideas we discussed. But I've had a couple. I'm more of a visual guy. I can, granted, I can make a song about Ilan Omar sucking a white penis or something once in a while. That seems to be the only kind of musical shit that comes to my brain for some reason. But so I think the question I'd ask you way back then that kind of got us hooked up creatively was like, what would it look like if I think it would disappeared into a computer or something like that, or sound like?
Yeah, visually.
Yeah. So you do a bit of everything, but
yeah.
We're talking about not being able to break through. I would say, so I was being an asshole, your music's not that good. Obviously, you're super talented, and that's not true. Well, what about point number 2? Is it mainstream appeal? Do you guys have a single ladies?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Do you guys have a single ladies like Beyonce?
Oh, no, we really don't. Well, I've been singing a lot more. A lot of people are like, well, the music is good, but it'd be great if it had some vocals. So I was like, full fucking fine then. And I started to add a lot of vocal textures to these, and we just use them as loops, right? Get turned off,
right.
Get turned on strategically in our, 12-minute improv jam. It's improv. So, there's good, bad, and ugly of improv, works in all kind of scenario. For me, it just keeps me interested, frankly. That's the primary reason why I'm doing it that way, because I've done the 4-year-long album production thing before. I've done it. And I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm kind of annoyed with that. I, made an album, put it out there, and it got almost no one. No one saw it. Because I didn't know someone that knew someone.
Yep.
And it might be too spicy for YouTube to tell my actual history and story of some execs and music producers and promoters out of LA. I actually have some experience with them.
That's your call if you want to tell them. I'm not going to stop you. I don't give a flying fuck what happens.
Well, literally, I'm 17 years old. I'm really talented musician. Me and my buddy, or at least we were seen that way, right? And we're approached by this feller, and he was in his 40s, and he's like, yeah, you guys, you got it. You got the look, you got the sound, you got everything. He's just like skeevy, dude. I mean, my God. This a skeevy creature.
Okay.
He was like, well, I know you need startup money, and I'm telling you that if you come to LA, as long as you can give good head, you will go far in this industry. So would you like to try out?
They say it don't be like that, but it do.
Huh? What? What the fuck I said? I'm 17 years old. I'm in this guy's car, me and my buddy both are in this guy's car, and he's literally propositioning both of us, give us a shot if we'll do the stuff.
Oh, my God.
And but he was also like, they will pay you like $10,000 a night. Just come back to LA with me, And I'm like, well, as it turns out, I'm not gay. He said, whoa, that's even better. I was like, what? Why? What? I'm 17. I was smart, but I was naive as fuck. So that's my story with an actual LA music producing, promoter.
So that's the price.
Fucking, if that's the case, bro, then tell me that it's not a psyop. Or at least it feels that way.
I'm inclined to agree that you can only go so far without doing that sort of thing.
Fucking hell.
And yeah,
then I don't want it.
There is definitely some sort of gay mafia. What's kind of weird and maybe ties into what's going on, like Peter Thiel and the whole. I don't know about Elon Musk, but the whole power structure that seems to somewhat be behind Trump now is. I mean, he's gay. He destroyed Gawker because he's gay, and so maybe we're in a gay civil war. But whoever wins, neither of us are getting a record deal, which still kind of sucks.
Exactly.
Or should I say it doesn't suck, and that's the part of the problem.
This vacuum does not, in fact, go that way.
But I think you probably could get 10,000 viewers on the internet fairly easily if you played some, like, shit you probably wouldn't want to play. What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you know the French pop song called "Ça plane pour moi"?
I do not.
It's like this old... Once in a while, there was a song not too long back called "Sail."
Oh, yeah.
Where these, like, more experimental people just bite the bullet and make some kind of poppy thing, and then they're done with it, but they get their $1 million. What about doing something like that? Call it row. Row!
Just one singular word?
Yeah.
God, I've kind of attempted to do that, John. We have finished products, finished music, right?
Like, I mean, you can hear like there's that. Maybe it's all confused now, I guess. But when I was in like the '90s growing up, there was a sound that was like that's like a radio song, like fucking.
Yeah.
You ever crank any of those out? Just even like out of black humor?
I've tried, but then you know what? I should. You're not wrong. I don't have like this kind of thing. Well, that just rubs my artistic integrity too far. No,
I think it's okay if it does. I mean, it's boring.
Yeah. Well, look. I'm not going to sing, WAP or some crap, right? As far as integrity goes, but if I wrote like some doo-wop, concept of doo-wop and how popular it was at the time. If I did something like that, I don't even feel bad about doing that. I'm fine with that.
Or what
it's
about
just you give me the fucking instruments and I go fucking spurgy crazy with it, and I've got 14 different melodies on top of one another.
Yeah, are you all like this is Locrian mode? This is Dorian. Oh, yeah. You do it? Yeah, I bet you.
Oh
do.
Yeah, Lydian. Yeah. Lydian is my. All over that. Even more so, my mad scientist buddy Tavian. Far more worse than me, and I'm pretty scientific about it. But
like Oingo Boingo, they made some poppy weird, but like they also were really. If you listen to the words, it's like holy shit. I wish I had like I Love Little Girls. You know that song?
I'm aware of it.
So that's like actually a really complicated song musically.
Is it?
It sounds.
I've never analyzed it. I couldn't get past the lyrics.
It's, but you know that song? I've got a brand new pair of roller skates. That's about a girl stalking a guy. I got a brand new pair.
Oh yeah.
Well, the song, if you listen to it, she's like, "You got a brand new key."
Yeah.
changes the locks because she rides past his house all the time on fucking. What about a song like that? Like,
So we'll have to co-write that, and you're liable for all lyrics.
is that what this is? It's my bravery in making song. Like, how have you? I'm not trying to plug my own shit, but have you? I don't want to talk like you've seen it if you haven't. Have you seen some of the songs I've done?
Oh, yeah, all of them, brother.
So, like, yeah, I can. I'll write it if you perform it.
Fucking hell. Well, as far as out of the two of us, who could write a pop song, who understands pop sensibility more, it's you. You know,
just-
I mean, I would be surprised if that's not the
It's
case.
just kick snare, and then that fucking same
Wub,
chord,
wub, wub.
chord progression and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What if you like took a song like Killer Whale and like redid it as an actual musician would, something like that?
That would be actually
Still do the whale solo.
new achievement marked for unlocking in the near future. How about that would be fucking crazy.
Well, that's kind of that's one of these movie ideas.
Whale solo is going to be wild.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta let your guy take his spaceship for a ride on that one. Like watching 2001 all over again.
How drunk was your ass when you recorded that shit?
Oh yeah, some of the recordings are not great. Like
No, I wasn't talking about quality, dude. The concept.
Oh, to come
the
up with
whale
it?
solo, dude.
that was actually one of the earliest songs I ever made, and I mean I kind of like worked on making it sound slightly better over time. But that bass line in it, I like just came out one day, and
That's good.
And then there's these little like pulling out these riffs out of thin air. Sometimes, once in a while, I have some luck, but
You do.
I think that one I like couldn't
Win.
think of fucking any like it just there were no words that sounded good. Even the verse that's in there I don't really like, and so then I think I was like just looping it and singing random shit in my fucking apartment one day, and I just started going like whale solo, and I was like, there you go, that's it.
Yeah. Anybody in chat hasn't heard that shit, you got to go check out that shit.
Oh, it's like when you listen. I did actually make something of a study of like viral pop songs, and especially
Yeah.
like I can't do like a poppy love song. So I went back and looked at like all the novelty type songs, like They're Coming to Take Me Away, haha, that kind of shit. The Avalanches, like Frontier Psychiatrist, that kind of, if you know them. But so you realize a shit ton of pop songs is exactly like that, where they're just like fuck the words, na 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 na. So there you go. So it's like.
Yeah. Say something relatable and then say something anyone can sing. Right? And
Yeah.
have the dynamics between the A and B.
Oh, that's a great. It's got to be singable.
Yes. Must be singable. I don't think that I've ever written a guitar solo that's singable. It's because I've never tried, right? So that's one of the, pop sensibility questions that you ask yourself. Is the primary instrument voice or words or what, or voice or, guitar or piano or keyboard or whatever, is it hummable? Can you hum that thing? Can you sing it? Can it get stuck in your head? Is it an earworm? And if
That's
answer
the word-
is no,
that's the
then
word,
in
earworm.
pop world, you scrap it. Yeah, earworm.
I made a study of earworms.
Oh, is that the video?
What do you mean?
You did a video on earworms,
Oh,
right?
I might have a while back. You mean like years ago?
Yeah, long ago. Well, you seem to be referencing it. It's in the back of my head.
Well, so primarily, again, I'm like not a great musician. I don't even think I could play a guitar. Like I can record it and make it sound like I can kind of play it, but there's a lot of stitched together takes in there.
yeah,
But words always made sense to me, and so like before I knew what I wanted to study, but then I had to find the word, and so earworm was the word I ended up finding, where I was like, that's. And if you don't know and you're watching chat, it's a great word because you understand it even if you don't. It's a fucking crawls in your ear and you can't get it out.
yeah.
So, but there is like that's actually been somewhat seriously studied by psychology, and then everything you're saying is exactly. It's got to be like it's the memes of music, if you will. So,
Yeah. Well, I say nothing I've ever written is hummable. It absolutely is, especially the last performance. Actually, first jam on the last performance. There's a primary melody that we come back to again and again, kind of like the big band jazz guys would. They'd improv like crazy, and then everybody, every third pattern would just lock in on that big melody, da 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 da, or whatever it is, right? Everybody's doing it, and then they go do their own little thing again for 5 more minutes in the club back in the day. And so we did that. And that's kind of the energy I was trying to accomplish, but we're so spacey. I'm a grunge kid, just a touch older than you. Nirvana was my favorite band when I was 14.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were just a little too before my time, but I think I probably would have liked them if I had been born a little earlier.
Well, there was a zeitgeist thing. It was a rebellion from the over-polished to the point of just being like diabetic level sweetness and polish being forced into your psyche constantly.
Yeah.
And then this fucker from that looks like maybe he lives on a street corner is singing about teen spirit, and nothing is polished about it. That was the shift. In case
got a little uglier again, but in a good way.
Yeah.
For us, that was kind of punk rock for me. I just missed, and I think the separation between technically not Gen X, so we had to hate you guys in some way. And it's
I'm barely Gen X.
We ended up with like fucking, like Blink 182 and stuff, which is not that great, but it is catchy. What's my age
catchy.
again? What's
Singable.
my age again? So anyway, we're talking about the gate-kept nature of the music industry. I will call out some chats here in a little bit, but great conversation. But so, I don't know. I do think you have, as an artist, which I think a musician is a subset of. There's all kinds of overlap and shit, but you are, if you want to sell stuff, or which even just a view is in a sense is a sale. Like one view, that's a sale. So if you want to sell stuff, you do have to play to the audience. And if you want to do exactly what it is that you want to do, you got to be lucky if a lot of people watch it because you just happen to like what other people like. And so,
yeah.
But I'm very interested. Like I started doing the music because of the whole memes and the censorship and like, how do you get an idea? So
smart. Like
my favorite song I ever made actually on YouTube was the only one that's permanently banned, which was about Elizabeth Warren.
That one was your favorite?
Yeah, and I think it was the most effective at shitting on somebody like accurately. So the whole song, it was this like carnival piano. It was like 2 notes repeating. I think it was the whole song is just 2 chords. And but I was pretty happy with the lyrics. It was just a bunch of wordplay on Native American names. So it was like, I think it got banned because I said, with like Hopi, the Hopi tribe.
Yeah.
Don't make a red cloud, the fucking chief, come out of your head. So like they said that was murder. That was a threat of murder, which it was.
Oh my goodness.
Which it was, let's be fair. So, but no, I think that one actually like blew up and they banned it because it was too on point. And some other stuff has been somewhat on point and some other stuff hasn't been, but
right.
I think like you, so you're back there building guitars and doing the electronics in them, what if you approach the songwriting problem that way? Like not as a musician, but as an engineer.
Well, so I kind of am. As far as the finished products, couple things. There are a couple approaches that I could take in the near future. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do this. The next piece that we release, what it comes from, we live record every single show, right? So everything's split to its own track. Everything's isolated, and then I go back and I find the best bits and I shorten it. Couple things that I have wanted to do is to go into the 7, 8, 9 minute range because musically, instrumentally, it's working. Okay, it actually is telling the story. That's not pop, of course.
Right.
It can never be pop. Totally get that. But it tells the story. If you like the story, then you'll stay for the 9 minutes because you like the story. At the worst in the 9 minute territory. And one of the reasons why I'm doing that is I'm like, man, my buddy Tavian hit 4 freaking solos out of the fucking park. He grabbed his saxophone after not touching the thing for a decade and literally played the best sax solo I've heard. Right? And he did this, and he did it 4 times in a row. You know what? I'm just keeping that shit in for the final release. And so I've been approaching post production and editing from that point of view. And it's kind of like I just need to hire, John Ward for $2,000 an hour to just fucking, tell me what I'm doing stupid.
I'd be happy.
An editor,
I
John.
would genuinely be happy on trying to throw together some kind of mimetic song, but like, you might not want to put your name on it after you see the words.
Atomic Annie will never be political. Mal can be as political as he fucking wants because I'm free.
Can I get you send you like a gorilla mask and have you record some guitar in front of a green screen and I'll work you into like a 1990s like shitty meme video?
Yes.
I honestly really.
If you're not joking, fucking send it and it'll happen. Okay. I'll literally do it. I'll grab that fucking guitar and I'll grab my Hello Kitty pink guitar and I will rock that shit.
I was just hold on. I realized that
I don't actually own one of those, but if I did, I would.
I believed you did. I was like, yeah, it must be true.
No.
It's
a bit of a meme in the guitar world. If you're not a guitarist, why would you ever know? It's obscure.
There we go. And I realized I want us to kind of be facing each other a little better here. Here we go. I'm almost there. What was this? 540? Nope. 2. Gosh, I'm trying to do math on the fly here. 260, right? Yeah, there we go.
Mathinate.
All right, so now we somewhat look like we're looking at each other. That's better.
Okay.
Anyway, I guess let's go back to so it's hard to break through unless you're willing to do some shit in the back of a car with some weird people. That's not unique to music or anything like that. I'm not trying to lead you anywhere.
Sure.
But what is the problem?
Well, all right. So earlier, we had touched on this for just a moment. I'm like, what is the problem? That's fucking great. I like the conversation. I've had the conversation with some friends in real life. I'm like, what actually is the problem? And so my dad, he was like, well, sin, of course.
Sin.
I'm like, okay, right on. And earlier you talked about, well, let's boil it down later, before we got on camera. And I'm like, boil it down. Well, I mean, if you keep boiling it down, keep fucking boiling it down, the problem is us. We're the fucking problem. There's something fucking fucked up and broken. Which basically is the concept of sin, I suppose.
I'm trying to do too many different things at once here. I was unhappy with how bright I was. There we go. Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm just gonna test out this camera for the first time ever in the middle of this live stream, if that's okay. That looks a little better. Yeah, I mean, I think that is. We kind of were chatting before we went live, and I said I'm not trying to be an asshole by being Socratic and asking some stupid question like one of those gurus on Twitter likes to do. But I think there's a lot of utility in asking that question because it's forcing you to take all this different shit that we talk about and try to find the common pattern that leads to things like, hey, kid, you can be famous if you blow me for $10,000 or something like that. There's an underlying, I mean, maybe there's more than one and it can't be reduced to a single thing. But I would 100% agree, and I'll go as far as to say you are correct, I think. It's a people problem. Physics hasn't changed. Gravity's still the same. Et cetera, et cetera. That stuff is, as far as we know, has been the same. So there's been some change in people. And I guess to me it's, now we get conspiratorial. Is this a natural part of the cycle of humanity and society and culture? And by that I mean, are you one of those people who might believe that we've had many advanced civilizations that rise and then fall once they reach the same point it seems like maybe we're reaching?
I love the thought exercise regarding the matter. I don't know. is the answer. I don't have a bent towards being against that concept and that rabbit hole at all.
Is this something we can escape, or are we just doomed to it? Like, is it all going down?
Yeah. No, I think it's preventable.
Preventable. And what would that... oh, geez, hold on real quick. Lord of the Ree not doing any Yale things. Just making adequate music, long walks music on the platforms. Album should be fully written and recorded by July. There's another guy, Lord of the Ree, we could work into this. Nice. That would be awesome. Yeah, he's been doing some like acoustic type stuff.
Sweet.
Okay, so it can be avoided. Is that like, what does that involve? What does that look like? Is that Trump? Is that Elon Musk? Is it us?
No, it's not. It's not a figurehead, right?
Okay.
I don't think that the problem is solved by any figurehead or any powerful personality or human messiah, right?
Okay.
So I would attack this from first. If you rule out the possibility for redemption, then you're already fucked. There is no fix now. Now you're actually fucking, sowing your own doom.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're going to attack a problem, look, hope for hope's sake is, empty. That's utterly empty. But we must operate as though there is a solution. If we do not, then a solution cannot fucking be found.
100% agree.
Okay, so that is a base root logic that I would exercise regarding this question. No, there's a fucking answer. We may feel like there's not an answer, but there's an answer. And we may already know the answer, but we don't like it.
And just to emphasize, there's a logic behind what he's saying, and I've said something similar back leading up to the election, is just like, some people are like, oh, Trump's part of this whole fake thing. Well, then we're so fucked that what's the point? And so you have to have this belief that it's at some point possible to turn in a different direction. And not only, so you have to have that if you want to talk about it at all. But I actually happen to believe that too.
Yeah.
There's just been enough cases in history where people thought it was all over and then managed to come back or go somewhere new. But that's another interesting part of this, is that there's not really a lot of places to go anymore. You and I can't hop on a rowboat and go make that song Row and end up on some uninhabited continent and start a new culture that's a little more sane. We're sort of forced to confront ourselves.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you put it so eloquently, a suspiciously cock-shaped hammer of goodwill fell from heaven and smashed the anus of the underworld back where it belongs. Yes?
I do.
Did I get? I'm pretty sure I'm
better than I would have done. That. Honestly, that's pretty good.
It's close anyway. One of the funnier, more hopeful lines I think I've ever heard. So kudos, brother. But yes, this has happened. There are problems that I've tackled in my own life that I was at one point convinced were insurmountable, and I wouldn't be alive now if it wasn't conquered. A really nasty case of depression, and partly due to the opiates being pushed by pharma. Mm-hmm. And opioids or whatever. And so I was addicted to those for a few years, and that jacked up my brain chemistry when I come off it. Really, really sent me spiraling bad. I'm one of those really bad cases, right? It's kind of bad for everyone, but it was particularly bad. And when you're in the depths of melancholy, you don't want to see that there is hope. You don't want to see that it doesn't validate how fucking fucked up you feel.
Right.
That it can't validate it, so you're like, no, fuck that shit. And that's what I see a lot of people call them black pillars. I got a heart for the black pillar though, because I was there. Right. And so the way you crawl out of that shit is to deny your own vanity. Okay, That's what I see as a root of all sin. You must deny the passion. You grew up Catholic, right?
I did, yeah.
And you heard these terms, unnatural passion or giving in to passion. Yes?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay.
Sure.
You guilty of that? Of course you are.
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't want to step on your story, but you're preaching to the choir using a little Catholic term. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So
Right on. Right. Well, I have a not a Catholic background, but I found I learned this concept of passions from the Eastern Orthodox world not too long ago. And I'm like, the 7 deadly sins are the 7 categories of the unnatural passions. I put this together that cause people to just lose their fucking shit. You know, gluttony. It's the easiest one to explain. A person that's 400 pounds, they got no glandular issue. No, they eat 12,000 calories a day of shit.
Amen. Finally, the truth.
That's a lot of people. What is this? It is a passion. They love food. Is there something evil or wrong with loving food? Fucking course not. I love food too, right? But if you give over to that passion to, no, I want more and more and more, well, you're going to need a vomitarium or you're going to die at 45. And probably die at 45 if you need a vomitarium anyway.
Yeah. No, that's funny because I always tell people that obesity should be considered an addiction. Like that's an addict that you're looking at.
It is. It is. I'm a little chunky myself. I could stop eating the fucking chips at night.
You hit a point.
Probably have 20 pounds off me.
Who gives a shit, So
yeah.
you could just slowly waste away.
I get it,
Yeah, no, so all these, like, not just that, but any drugs are from a computer perspective. To me, these all seem like infinite loops. Like to me, melancholy or depression. Is that you're stuck in an infinite loop, and what you were saying there about how there's no sort of verbal pick-me-up that will get you out of that. No. To me, that's almost what the movie Fight Club is sort of about. The only way to get out of that is have some savage beast of a man come punch you in the face to wake you up. Now, there's a lot of other subtext to that movie that.
There was a kid that literally asked me to do that not too long ago. He wanted me to lay him the fuck out. Like
in a conscious, intentional sort of way?
Oh, yeah. No, straight up Fight Club, bro. He saw Fight Club. He was so inspired. He wanted me to knock him out. He was like, well, I've never been punched in the fucking face. Can I even call myself a man? He's 20 years old.
Okay.
Right? I'm like, okay, kid. I mean, you're rocking it. You've got the head to become a great man, honestly. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to fucking punch you in the face because you might die. And it's not about my own ego, but you might die. Okay? Or I break a tooth, break a jaw, and now I'm like, I feel too bad not to pay the hospital bills, and I can't afford it. I'm putting all this through, but I tell you what, kid, right up against his forehead went the palm of my hand.
There you go.
And he did, what now? His whole universe shifted for a moment. I said, that's as clean and nice and kind and no fucking damage as you gets. Because if I actually hit you like them boys are hitting each other in that show, shit's going to break. It hurts to hit with my hand.
Oh, yeah, you fuck your hands up. No one understands that either. That's the worst part.
But just a little palm. Thunk. Glance blow upward off.
Well, so what was
his whole universe shifted.
Did he hit you back? Did he?
No, but he got mad.
Of course.
There was something wild that he literally asked me, and we had an hour-long conversation. Went around the mountain like we're doing.
Sure.
But we literally had a fucking conversation for an hour. I'm like, what, did you want me to give you a 3, 2, 1? Do you think this is going to accomplish the fact that you've never been punched in the face?
You wanted to be hit in the face, but you wanted a fucking heads up first, huh?
And do you really want 200-pound me doing this? I mean, bro, like, I could try to do 10%, but anyway, as a guy that's been hit in the face and had to hit in the face, there's hospital bills.
You never feel good. I don't know about you, but
big
I
old scar right there.
Yeah.
Over this one. They thought my ocular bone was busted.
I think there's this conception that you feel bad after fights you lose and you feel good after fights you win. I always felt bad after every fight, no matter what, win or lose. It's just like, usually you were like drinking, or it was something like
something stupid,
something involved. Fucking stupid,
something stupid.
But I will say it's interesting to me that he asked you that, and maybe that's too much TV. But I get the impression, so I'm working with guys in their 20s now quite a bit, that they do feel incomplete as men, and I kind of agree with them.
Yeah.
The
way I framed it may be misframing him as well. Fight Club was merely the concept that sparked months prior to this conversation.
That's why I think it was a popular movie, in spite of the fact that I believe the book it's based on was really about gay dudes. Like, that was the main initial message, was gay dudes.
Jeff Palahniuk, really?
Gay dude, yeah, well, he's gay.
Gross. Well, then the movie's fucking superior.
Well, I think what happened is it was old enough in American history, it was the 90s, that you couldn't be gay in a mainstream movie. But gay people wanted that movie made, and so they did it all, but they cut out all the gay stuff and accidentally made a movie about male camaraderie, because that's what a group of gay dudes is when you take away the gayness. It's a bunch of brothers. Tribeca, I was at the mall food court today, and I thought, now pick a fight and lose. Project Mayhem never leaves your brain. No, I mean, I kind of think kids do need to be hit in the face, and you're 100% right. So we're older, we're pragmatic. It's like, no, that's not great. I had a buddy bite a hole through his tongue one time when he got punched. It's disgusting. It's also kind of
well, look, you need to do it when you're fucking 95 pounds.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's what I did. Most of it.
In terms of what is the problem, to me, that's part of the problem too. And then the fact that it's worth it to hope for a solution is that they kind of understand that I like to read a lot of ancient history and stuff like that, and those concepts of glory or dying.
Yes.
You see this on Twitter now, too, of like the first-person view of a guy sitting on a snowy mountain lighting a cigarette, and it's like, all I ever wanted out of life was to have a cigarette while I'm dying and running rear guard for my buddies as they escape. But that, to me, is like a re-emergence, this groundswell of a very human understanding. Nobody taught them this. But life gets to a certain point where it's so shitty, or you feel so trapped, or everything's gate-kept, that is the emotion that comes out, is like, I want to go down fighting and die for some concept of an in-group that's not real to escape and go on. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, and so for our generation, age group, the concept of honor was just something that they said in the medieval-esque movies, Yeah. It meant they're men of great standing in the community, right? No, it literally meant that your name and who you are is valued by the other person. Because they know that you won't lie, they know that you won't steal.
Huge part of
it. They know that they can deal with you. They know that you're not an idiot or some kind of degenerate that is going to rape and pillage, and you're their neighbor, right? An honorable man. Of course, there's much more to honor than that, but how many do we know of reputation of honor in our lives?
It almost gets mocked, even. Like they've tried to invert the values of everything, of course.
Yep.
But not only has it lost its value, there's been an attempt to, you're an idiot if you try to be honorable, which in the way the world is now, you do. I don't know. I'm far enough along that road too. Like all these government employees losing their jobs. I don't feel bad for them. I'm not going to help them. I'm not going to donate.
That is false empathy.
Tell me more about that.
Empathy that I was talking about. Why would you feel bad about that? Why would you feel bad about not feeling bad for somebody getting their just desserts? How else are they ever going to fucking learn?
I think we're entering as a society this much needed, instead of this binary black and white, now there's 4 categories finally, and there's eventually hopefully going to be much more than that. But you're right. You're not supposed to help your enemy kill your friends in the most general sense of the word.
Yeah.
That is not dishonorable.
How did that ever become some kind of sin we should feel bad about?
I think our enemies did this language game where they never admit they're your enemy. That is how you lose their game, and that's the game you're playing. That you make the right-wing guy lose his shit, says, fuck you, trannies, I want to kill all of you for what you're doing to kids. And then, You're violent. I told you.
So this I believe actually started in the church, Protestant side and Catholic both. It started in the church, where at some fucking point we replaced the gospel with the gospel of nice. Okay?
Yes.
At some fucking point, we decided that we were going to teach all of our children, both of us in this age group, that Jesus was a hippie. Okay? And that nice is what being holy is. Nice is what being good is. Nice is how you get into heaven. Right? I would say that the English soldiers that killed many in order to keep their villages from being raped and pillaged on the regular in, say, the 1300s. Yeah, I would say that was a kindness, and I would say it's good, and I would say it's righteous, and I would say it's honorable, and I would say it's not fucking nice. So fuck your nice, world. Fuck your nice, church. It's not Jesus. It's not God. Fuck your nice. We're not going to be nice. No more nice.
And so not that I can answer what is the problem. I'm sort of actually believe it's not a problem that can be answered in words, which is the very nature of the problem. But you're 100% right. They've convinced us, or we've convinced ourselves, that being fair and being nice are the same thing. And my personal favorite scene in the Bible is when he flips the tables in the temple and beats the shit out of all the money lenders. And
He did.
Man, do I bust that quote out a lot these days, because when you try to work with the right in politics, there's still this loser, in my opinion, loser mentality.
Yeah.
I do question how genuine the people at the top of, let's say, like Catholic charities really are. I think they know exactly what they're doing, the people at the top.
Yep. Yeah. Well, so you've got the gospel of nice, but you've also got the gospel of doom, right?
Okay.
Particularly on the side of my Protestant side. Okay, it's less so on the Catholic, although you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not some great authority on Catholicism for what.
No, I know.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. If you happen to remember and correct me, then just fucking correct me. But I think that it's actually more of a Protestant side issue. Is that the gospel of doom says, well, you understand that this is the end times, and that God is actually not in charge of the world. Satan is, right? And so, of course, things are terrible. Satan is in dominion over this world, and that is what God said. So the end game result of that is, well, what could we actually fucking do to change that, and why should we even try to change that? This is why Christians don't vote. They don't get involved in their local politics, in their school boards. This is why. It is the gospel of nice, and it is the gospel of doom. Nice says they would be being rude if they said anything against, zipper tits, right?
Okay, yeah.
That ideology
great
being
word.
taught to their children.
Perfect word.
Sorry if that is a no-nos.
Don't go contradicting your own philosophy and apologize.
Well, only to you, because I like you. Would I ever apologize for
the shit that comes out of my mouth? You don't have to, anyway, I didn't
fair enough.
No, okay.
I received the rebuke.
Too nice, but then if you do end up doing anything, then the world falls apart and everything ends. It's like there's no escape.
Yeah, so gospel nice, gospel doom. If the world is ran by Satan, we couldn't possibly change it because we're in the end times, and that is how it has to be. Then we all just lay back and let the most evil people in the world do whatever they want to all of our children. I say this to these people on the regular. I'm not very well received, by the way.
Do you think that is the genuine message of the Christian religions and various forms of the Christian religions, or do you think that is kind of what I was just talking about, where it's a bunch of well-meaning sheep-type people following around some not-so-nice people who know exactly what they're doing?
Yeah, what I just said is the true takeaway that's being applied. Okay, that's the applicational understanding that most have. It may not be what any preacher has ever said. In fact, I don't think anyone would ever fucking say it the way I just said it. Duh. Because I just called it what it's actually producing it. Yeah, or what it's actually producing, I'm just calling that out. And so, those are some of the issues. What is the problem that is in the Christian world that I see that has caused this just absolute shitification and pussification of our doctrinal understanding?
Right. Real quick, Lord of the Ree, I grew up Protestant, but I've been considering going Orthodox Christian, but from what I've read, they're not as pandering to the ways of the world.
Now, as it turns out, your Eastern Orthodox, extremely close to Catholic. They basically said nay to, papal supremacy. They said nay to that. That was the split. They don't. They have not bent the knee to the woke. They can't. It's to them to do so is to turn against all of the saints that have come before them.
Yeah,
and actually go against God Himself.
This is a great. Are you familiar with G.K. Chesterton at all? I talk about him all the time, but he's
mostly from your quotes, cowboy.
He's I like him a lot, honestly. He seems like he genuinely thought about stuff, but was also a true believer. But he has a quote, something along the lines of, the church is not supposed to move with the world; it's supposed to drive the changes in the world. And so, like it resonates with me because you look at the current pope and stuff like that. Although he might be dying soon. Is he dead? Did that fucker die? I don't know.
I don't know.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, I heard he was sick. That's all I know.
So like the church, the Catholic Church, has just sort of adopted like the Obama administration social policies. Just like within 10 years, everything just flipped around 100%.
It's crazy.
And so, I'm always a fan, just like Pictish, who we were talking about earlier. Love them or hate them, the people that are uncompromising, that do not, they're these little stones in this big gay river.
He is unfucking compromising.
Oh, he will not change. He stopped watching my shit because I couldn't get Rumble to work, and honestly, I don't blame him. Like, I can't even imagine how curmudgeon-y I'm going to be at that age. I'm going to be unbearable. So I already can't talk to people. But
disagreeableness. When you said that word on the last Manthropology, I'm like, that is the best and fully a complete personality diagram word that you could possibly use for me. I am the disagreeable.
That is the term of art or whatever. Disagreeableness, I think, is the quality of being unpleasant or not likable, especially when. Well, that's not quite. This is like an actual scientific term. Psychology. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Personality trait that describes people who prioritize their own interests over getting along with others. Actually, I don't really agree with that. I would say it's so. Like, I think my disagreeableness comes from. I'm I'm like a somewhat functional autistic person. That's a big part of it. By the way, if you gotta take a shit or something, just please move off camera, but go for it.
Yeah.
No, so like I think autistic people, it's like the same thing as not getting a joke, autistic people, because they take it at face value. I don't know.
I got a touch of the tism myself.
Yeah, so I don't think it's
more than a touch. I think
I don't know that I'd say I'm a selfish person. In a lot of ways, I think I'm pretty fucking selfless.
Can you put that shit back on stage for a second? Yeah. I want to analyze this for a second. So a personality trait that describes people who prioritize their own interests over getting along with others. How about prioritizes their understanding of what the truth is?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And will not bend that in order to get along with you. How about that?
I think that is exactly the correct definition. Some say disagreeable people can be interesting and successful. And they're less afraid.
Every successful person I ever met is disagreeable.
Yes, 100%. So it's another one of those value inversions that modern Western society has foisted upon us, that being disagreeable is bad. Well, I mean, there's just so many obvious counterexamples to that. Guy pulls up to your driveway. in a windowless van. Hey, little kid, you want some candy? Fuck you, you weirdo.
Disagreeable. That's right.
Yeah,
Be fucking disagreeable.
You need one of those little a-holes in your group of neighborhood kids, and it keeps everything a lot more on an even keel. You just got to not find one that goes too far in the other direction.
Fucker.
Yeah, same.
I was that fucker. I've been in dozens of fights because of it. Most of the time because somebody was getting picked on or some horrible shit. I'm not like a big tough guy. I lost half of them. Okay, 50-50 ratio here. I suck as a UFC guy, right?
And so, your definition is right there. You weren't getting in those fights because of your self-interest. You probably ate a shit ton of shit. It was not in your self-interest. I did stay out of it.
I did eat enough shit to the point where I got enough. In point of fact,
but is that part of, like, now people like that, those guys, and guys is probably the right term, honestly, because they're mostly male. They've sort of been criminalized by society, and from a very early age too. Like and that started way back when I was a kid, and probably before the whole anti-bullying shit. Don't get me wrong, there's some terrible bullying that goes on, but is that part of the problem, that those guys are all gone?
Yeah, it's part of the problem. I was right before the show, I saw Viva La Fry give a reaction to this video where, a couple are playing pool at a bar, and a drunk guy gets off the bench, it's a CCTV, and walks over there and grabs this woman's butt with both hands, hips, like he's about to do thrusting, action, and the guy just goes, and the guy is out. One punch. The guy moves so fast, he accidentally bumped the cue into the wife's face, right? And then just, this guy went, ka-punk. I think his head hit like that, right? The concrete behind him. So hopefully that still alive.
That was just on.
You just tap on my replies there, and you'll see my fucking reply to Viva La Fry regarding the matter. But it's on point. Now scroll up, hit replies.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
I'm an idiot.
Boomer in it. Yeah, that's the one right there.
So he grabs her.
Watch this fucker, dude.
Just. He got her. Yeah, he fucking got his.
So justified or too far, Mr. Ward?
I'm for it. No, I mean, so like I've been in enough of these situations to understand. So this dude is probably hammered as fuck. I mean,
oh, I know, but do you think the guy was watching?
And he's So like, he's racking the fucking balls.
Yeah,
he's not really looking. Then he just sees it that I would have fucking done the same thing.
He did what his fucking gorilla genes do.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't even arrest that guy if I saw that video and I was the cop.
Yeah, but Viva's take on it was like, oh my gosh, this is way too far.
Oh, he said it was too far.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Mr. Viva La Fry. You should read. You should read what he had to say.
I'm surprised.
The guy has lots of great takes, but boy, he's got a shitty fucking Canadian take on this one.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Is he Canadian?
Oh yes, he is from the Canada. But yeah, basically his take as a lawyer, is that this is too far. He'll be lucky if he doesn't spend years in prison. And how much is that worth for defending that woman? And I'm like, bro, do you really want humanity to be afraid of defending their women?
I think also people that think that's too far have never been in he doesn't know that guy's not going to pull out a knife or pull out a gun or so. Like, it's not.
Yeah, he was grabbing his woman's ass.
That is just, in my opinion, a legal green light. He could have shot him in the face for all I care.
I agree. Okay, and there is the lack of false empathy, right? Because you're not operating outside of empathy right now. You're not a sociopath for this take, Mr. Ward.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with you, but I like hearing what you're saying.
It actually is very loving that you want that to be a norm in society so our women aren't fucking groped all the time.
Yeah, I'm willing to go through those growing pains. There's going to be a few people that get laid out that, that was maybe a little harsh. But it's like, you know what? Stop fucking getting so drunk that you do shit like that, Yeah. Just the switch of value of... So that's what this last week's episode was kind of about. Is it time to stop spending so much of our energy on trying to understand criminal behavior?
Right.
Have we been doing this for long enough now? And the book I was talking about was from the 1700s, and then that Anatomy of Melancholy. These are linked in the description. All the way back from 1621, so over 400 years old. Yeah, it actually is a really interesting book. But, you know, we and then the Chesterton quote I always like to tie in there is the whole point of an open mind is to close it again on something solid. And I very much believe in that too. We're never supposed to just open up everything and leave it that way. There is some value in that for sure. Yeah. Perhaps we've now arrived at a point, though, where we can look back at this recorded evidence of our big open mind since at least 1960s or so.
Yep. What does it produce?
And now we shut it again on something solid, which is get the fuck out.
Yeah. Scorched fucking earth on wokeism.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, you have this Nietzsche quote I say all the time. Everybody knows the stare long enough into an abyss part, but the first part of that is be careful when fighting monsters, lest you become a monster.
Yes.
And so I'll say this: I am not running around in the streets right now, wearing like fucking special black op fucking camo, trying to take out people and shit like that. I don't really believe we're at that point yet. No. Tons of people, tons of keyboard warriors, I'm one myself, are like, yeah, if shit hits the fan, I'll be there. I'll be fighting. I'll be shooting guns and whatever. And yet we're not. And I guess Trump winning was sort of a pressure relief valve. Maybe that's a bit of a conversation is, had he lost, what do you think he'd be doing right now?
Well, what would he be doing?
What would you be doing?
Oh, me? I don't know.
What if Kamala Harris had won by 20 million votes?
I would guess you wouldn't be streaming. So not this.
Would you have kept showing up for work, you know, in the proverbial sense? If Kamala,
would I be?
Yeah, like, you know, like I wouldn't. Yeah. I think I was about ready to be done participating in any sort of cooperative way if they had rigged it again.
Oh, got you. Yeah, and I agree. I would have done what I did with Obama. Remember, I'm a touch older than you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm old enough to remember him, unfortunately.
Well, I remember when he was elected, and I said, "Dear God in heaven, is it really so that humanity worships diversity now? Like that, literally, they worship as a god,
as a religion.
Like I'm watching humanity bow down to this like golden calf. Not talking about Obama, but the concept of the beginning of wokeism." Or, you know, not the beginning, but maybe, you know, the end of the first stanza.
That's when it went. It went mainstream. It became the dominant culture.
Right. Yeah, and so I'm just like, is this political world even fucking for me? Like, I think I'm just going to bow out and ignore all of it, that it even exists. And I shit you not, you actually are part of my story. My wife said, "Hey, there's this Trump guy," and yeah, I'm like, the apprentice guy. She's like, "Yeah, he might actually become the president." And then he did, and I voted for him as well because I saw this ramp up, right?
Right.
And
that was me too.
So how to be a good liberal by Mr. John Ward. How to be a good liberal.
That's a
well, these are the things that you must do to be a good liberal, don't you know? I saw that shit pop off, I think, 2016, you know? And I was like, this fucker's funny, first of all. Also, didn't know that people like that even fucking existed, you know, that could turn a phrase like that and actually saw things with any kind of clarity. I didn't know that anyone existed.
Conservative humor, yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't know it existed. Rush Limbaugh was fucking boring, bro.
That's kind of that. I got into it by accident, making fun of that famous Don Lemon interview with Sheriff David Clark. That was like the first video I ever did.
Mr. Schmegma.
But it occurred to me after that like, yeah, nobody's making fun of how stupid this all is. It's all this like you were saying. You had your two the doom perspective and the gospel of nice and the gospel of doom. That's what you said, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's a whole playground in between there, fellas.
Yeah.
You know, like before we start pulling out guns and shooting people, why don't we try making fun of them and see how that goes? And I think that's been one of the great cultural shifts since 2016 is the realization that the left can't fucking meme is the greats. And it's true.
No, they're trying to do our memes from 2016 right now.
Even like a lot of people that were famous for supposedly being funny, and I'm talking about like, who comes to mind? Like Seth Rogen. Mm-hmm. I mean, I laughed at Seth Rogen back before 2016. I was like, this guy's fucking hilarious. Now you go back and watch it, and it's not
Fear
fun.
Factor was fun.
Well, it's that. Oh, yeah, not Joe Rogan. What did I say?
Oh.
Did I say Joe Rogan? Seth Rogen, that fat
Seth Rogen. Oh, yeah.
guy. That's
yeah,
his name,
goofball
right?
stoner. Right.
That is his name, right? Seth Rogen?
Yeah, Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
yes.
so all those like comedy, Jon Stewart, The Daily Show, that's actually what I kind of based it off of at the beginning was an attempt to do something with the limited resources and the potato camera I had at the time. Had some like shitty USB microphone too.
Sure.
But that was just obviously a very well-researched propaganda show.
Yeah.
But so you go back and watch that shit that even I in my own lifetime used to, I thought it was fucking hilarious. I used to watch Chelsea Handler. You know what I'm talking about?
You did?
Yeah.
I never could stand it. I know what you're talking about.
I was pretty fucking young, so I'll give myself a little excuse. Real quick, Hawaiian Brian, Dan Crenshaw threatened to kill, I did see that, threatened to kill Tucker Carlson. There's another guy, Crenshaw. But
wow. Did he?
Yeah, it was in an interview. It's
that's not smart, Mr. Crenshaw.
He's melting down, I think, a little bit. I love to see it.
I mean, that's what you get for being a fucking globalist, pretending to be MAGA from the
his
beginning.
whole rise was so manufactured where he was losing and then they got him on SNL, like the fucking Pete Davidson.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, this dude.
I didn't see that.
He's a total plant. But it's nice to see everybody hating him. But like just this, that shit was never funny. It was just you were caught in this cloud of momentum. And Obama in 2008 was that too. Like I was in college, and everybody, and I mean fucking everybody, was like, Obama is the greatest. Oh my God, it's gonna be the coolest thing ever. And I wasn't political at all, and I thought Mitt Romney sucked donkey balls. But I was just like, this is so weird to me that everyone is like, I feel like we're not saying shit.
They were like, wow.
Yeah, well, I was like, the shit coming out of our mouths is not our own thoughts.
Yeah.
Like people would be like, yeah, he's like a great senator from Illinois and his policy. And I'm like, you heard that on TV. You're like a 20-year-old. We just fucking did drugs and got drunk and played rugby. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're repeating. You just are repeating shit. I watched Jon Stewart last night too. You're just saying that shit.
Yeah.
And a couple of us kind of that kind of brought us out of it. It's like, yeah, we're not fucking. We don't know anything about Obama. We're just repeating what the TV says. And so that's how my journey kind of sort of began. But then, like you're saying, I just completely checked out. So in an attempt to come back to your original point, do we bear, like, are you allowed to check out? Or are you just kicking the can down the road for other people to deal with?
So the checkout that I did.
And real quick, thank you, Mark Pierce. No comment, but thank you.
The checkout is, it depends. Are you a man of the community? Are you a man who is a part of your community? If so, then you have a responsibility to look after that community. If you have a family in a town, you have a community. Whether you want to or not, that community is now going to affect your children. I have a kid, right?
Right.
So this is how I think on these matters. Are you allowed to check out? If you're married, are you allowed to check out of your marriage if you're really annoyed with your wife?
I hope so.
No, we'll see how fucking well that goes.
Yeah, bud. But it sounded to me like you were saying that is kind of what you did.
No, it is. It is. I checked out of politics up until 2016.
And then,
because Obama was just a complete shit show, and it was the wrong thing for me to do.
Well, I'm not trying to attack you one way.
No,
I think I do agree. I think it was not quite so obvious in 2008. It's more obvious now that it was a zero-sum game that we kind of had to win. But I I don't blame anybody in 2008 for checking out. It was such a wild swing. But I mean, is that like if you had been engaged, what changes would you have really affected as just some guy? Like from 2016 for 6 or 8 years or something, made constant videos and shit, and the end result of that was the majority of people consume it as just a version of propaganda. Like they don't. A lot of those viewers back in those days were just on the same sort of bandwagon, but it was now Trump instead of Obama, and I think that's great. Like I've had to come to accept that there's just a lot of people like that, and if you want to win,
right,
then you use them they're the useful idiots, I guess you would say.
Yep.
But
well, I can tell you, bandwagon agreeable people are not the people that are hanging out in your Discord or your Gilded Now.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, it's
evolved. I mean, really,
quite spectacularly.
These people will tear you a fucking part. I've watched these poor fools that stumble in and act a fool.
Speaking of
world champions. Okay?
How many times I had someone message me about Pictish, and I was just like, "You're just gonna have to fucking deal with it, man. I ain't stepping in." You're a bit.
Yeah, he said something disagreeable again. He said something like Patton would say again.
We lost a lot of people because of stuff like that. But you're right. It's an incredible crew. I mean, 3CC has sort of emerged from that. We got to get that booted back up on Sunday. But
I was watching live when you dropped that concept. It was before you had your live legs. Yeah, you definitely got your live legs now. But you were like, "Fuck, fine. Well, I volunteer for."
Oh, dude, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Somebody's got to fucking do it. And the comments, I mean, I don't really like watching live shows, and my content that I make that's pre-thought out is much better than this. I mean, I love doing this. This is great. I wish more people would get interested in it, but this is like your music that gets 10 views versus that stupid pop song that gets 10 million. This live streams are not pop songs.
Well, live streams are really important for extended engagement from your base.
Which is, and it's those sorts of problems that we're trying to solve. This is not a 10-second problem that we're trying to figure out.
No, we'll be talking about this for a decade.
Yeah, we're going on an hour and a half, and we haven't even really begun to address.
We scratched the surface, didn't we?
And I'm somewhat wonder if that question can be answered. What is the problem? To like with words anyway. And I mean, you're an artist, and I think you kind of maybe the reason you go play some kind of guitar solo is because that's a more accurate language, I guess, than trying to say the feeling with words. So. Go ahead. I cut you off there.
No, it's okay. What do you want me to grab my guitar or something or what?
No, I thought you were saying something. I was taking a hit of my. I got to get these guys to sponsor me. Celtic Talisman Dry Snuff from Scotland.
Something I've never tried. Bro.
I thought it would help me quit smoking, but now I just snuff and smoke together. I get all wire.
Well, as it turns out, nicotine does in fact kill nanobots. So you have
a lot of good stuff for you, and maybe that's part of my disagreeableness is that my testosterone has stayed really high because I'm a smoker.
Oh yeah, well, same. Yeah, it's being a smoker, and I wish I didn't honestly, but
do you still a little bit?
Huh?
Do you still smoke a little bit, or you've been?
I smoke like chimney.
Oh, you do?
Chimney, bro.
Respect.
I'm fucking dealing with this, like talking to you on the camera for like 3 hours straight.
Why don't you
I'm going to have to take a break soon now.
Light one up.
I can't inside. Yeah, Randall, it's in the lease.
All the studio guys keep telling me I can't smoke in here either. I just do it anyway.
No. I don't like the way the house smells.
I'm going to have to stop now that Landon, I don't know if you saw him. He's a former offensive lineman for Penn State. He's enormous. And I might have to stop because he scares me. He's so fucking big. It's like hard to understand how gigantic he is. I think he benches like 550.
550? Wow.
Yeah, like something stupid like that. So yeah, not too long ago, he's like, "Hey man, would you like mind not smoking in here?" And I was like, "Oh, maybe. We'll see. What'll happen if are you gonna kill me?"
If I ever come to your studio, do you know how fucking hazy that shit is?
Oh no! I made it very clear, and he'll have to get on. I mean, we get it. It kind of cleans out nicely because of the way the air works. But
nice.
I'm a huge fan of the, Mihai calls it the madman vibe. Mad Men, like that's a TV show, whatever that, where they all smoke and shit.
Mad Men, right.
But my voice is actually not like this from smoking. I've been sick for like a month straight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard it, man. I don't know what the fuck
seems
it's
like
doing to your
something's
voice.
going around. But, well, then I keep coming in here and smoking for 2 hours, chain smoking and doing dry snuff. And
Did you ever
never...
try that hippie tea?
Oh, I've tried everything.
Throat coat, hippie teas, whatever. I just call it hippie teas. I can't
even
remember
just
what they're called.
so I went through up until like last July. I went 2 years. I don't think I said more than 10 words in that 2 years to another human being. I just, that's my natural state, is to find a real place like this shit behind me.
Oh yeah.
And I just don't talk. I just think.
I grew up in that shit, man. Up in the mountains outside of Spokane, Washington, for the first 8 years of my life. I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere. And it affected me. You were talking about...
It's interesting.
Yeah, you were talking about... You had mentioned something on the last Manosphere about...
Manthropology, damn it.
Anthropology. What did I say?
Manosphere. That's probably... No,
my bad.
I don't give a shit. Manosphere, whatever.
Yeah, well, you were talking about empathy for animals, right?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yes. When you look at a cow, do you actually want to eat it? Yeah, well, the answer actually is yes. And the way I see animals in general, okay, I believe my actual earliest memory is chopping the head off of a chicken. I think I was 4. I think I was too young, too, for my father to make me do this. But he wanted me to just kind of get over it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it freaked me out, because he'd chop the head off, and then they would, like, run around, which would scare the shit out of me. It was like, come here, boy. He grabbed my hand, put a little hatchet in my head, and he said, swing really, really hard right here. And I'm fucking terrified. This man is scary.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fine. Whack. And that motherfucker chased me around the yard. That's why I remember it.
That is
I hit it, and it started flopping all over the place, and I ran, and then it flopped towards me. So to me, it was chasing me. Right? I had nightmares for 10 years.
That's the foundational memory that kicked off your life, huh?
It is, in fact, a key. That is a primary. Yeah, I helped clean deer. I ate the deer that I helped clean. That's work. And chickens are freaking easy, man. Cleaning the deer is work. And all kinds of other crazy shit constantly in the fucking garden. Constantly helping mom in the garden. Because when I was a little bit.
They're definitely... sorry, go ahead.
Grew up very different than most people. Totally get that. And so my view of animals, people are like, oh, my cat is just in a bad mood today. I'm like, huh? Oh, well, I guess they can have moods, I suppose. I love cats. Cats are incredibly fucking amusing. This cat, brother. But I don't empathize with animals like city people do. I don't think I actually even can.
Well, they're like tools, in a lot of ways from the way you grew up. Yeah.
Function. Like, why would you have a dog in a little bitty apartment? My brain... My early farm brain is like, why would you do that? That dog wants to run. It can't do that in here. What, are you going to take it off outside every single time it wants to run? The answer is yes, says all city people. I'm like, oh my God. What a bunch of fucking work. And they ain't fulfilling any kind of duty. It's probably making the animal crazy that it's not fulfilling a fucking purpose. This is literally farm brain. Yeah.
Maybe part of what is the problem is people are too far removed from the shit involved in, say, like eating that steak that you just bought. Mm-hmm. I asked that, when you look at a cow, do you get hungry? It's interesting to me because you'll hear like kind of 3 responses, and one is like, no, absolutely not. That's disgusting. And then you'll hear people like us who are like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to chew on that thing. But most people are probably in the middle where they're like, well, I look at a steak and I get hungry. I look at a hamburger and I get hungry. But if I had to butcher the cow, that would gross me out.
Right.
Like this has got to be the only time in human history that's ever happened, that we've become comfortable enough to even evolve into that sort of thing. And I worked with primates. I think a lot of people don't realize this. Well, other primates don't eat meat. Fuck yeah, they do. Go watch some chimpanzee videos, man. They do the most fucked up shit you can possibly imagine. They get off on torturing them before they eat them. Yeah. So it's like it's and then of course you can read human history and all the shit we've done to each other, and it's really only in this last little century or 2 centuries that we started. I don't know. I talked before. It's a luxury to like be pro-immigrant. Like you have to be. All of these leftist positions are luxurious positions. All your needs have to be met, and then you can start to form beliefs like that. People like you and I, where your needs don't get met, are people I find very interesting. A lot of people on the right are born wealthy, but they seem to identify, sort of like Fight Club, that this has become meaningless in some way. Can you slap me in the face or something? Like it. Yeah. I need some kind of problem to deal with rather than this goofy fake shit that we're born into. I don't know what the words for that are, but especially when you're 20 and younger, it's like you don't have words for that. You just see Fight Club and you're like, oh shit, that's what I want.
Yeah. I literally actually did that too right after watching it. Me and the boys at the local Denny's that would hang out until 4 a.m. smoking cigarettes all night. I said, come on, fuckers, we're going to go do this.
In the Denny's parking lot?
And to the fucking Denny's parking lot we went. And it was a good time. It was a good sparring, a little bit of blood, nothing like the movie. Until, you see, there was these fellers. You got, well, let's say he's the Taekwondo guy, right? And he's 180 pounds, and he is 5'10". And then we got my other buddy, and we're just going to call him Milton because I fucking nicknamed him Milton, and he was Milton forever because of that. Well, Milton was a son of a bitch in general, but Milton decided that since the Taekwondo guy, Milton's girlfriend liked Taekwondo guy and would giggle ever so in such a way at every one of Taekwondo those guys' jokes. Well, they decided to spar, square up, and honestly, they're Milton actually a little heftier than him, maybe by 30 pounds, but he's a floppy, right? Well, floppy managed to get his way on top of Mr. Taekwondo with his hands around his neck.
Oh, fun!
Right. And Mr. Taekwondo goes, tap, 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 right? As you do, right? Tapping out, right? Well, how do you think this fucking went?
I think that fight might have kept going.
Indeed it did. And then Taekwondo went tap, tap, tap. And then tap, 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 right? And his hands are at his throat. And I'm watching this. I'm like, oh, shit. I really don't want to have to tackle them.
I'm fucking laughing.
And then out of nowhere, it was like, the sound of a great cow smacking the floor after it's been hung up, right, in a meat locker. Just this guttural meat slap of Taekwondo's fist into this guy's temple.
Ooh.
And Mr. Milton went ka-thunk, 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 ka-thunk on the ground. And, I mean, Taekwondo was fucking pissed. But Taekwondo guy had a modicum self-control, and so this didn't go any further. But Mr. Milton, I think, actually got his skull fractured from that punch. So Mr. Taekwondo was also a bodybuilder.
He knew how to punch.
Very, very strong. And so
that's
was
Denny's. And that's the local Denny's.
Yeah, that was the local Denny's in Plano, Texas.
Somebody in the comments had a great, I think it was Gulf Coast Florida man of the Gulf of America now. Great username, but he said, I've been to that Denny's.
Where did we square up? I had long blonde hair at the time, and I was about 5 times prettier.
No, that's a great example of there's like the structured Taekwondo sparring, and then there's
we weren't doing that.
Real fighting.
We fought.
Was there alcohol involved?
I mean, we weren't trying to put each other in the hospital, but I took some hits.
You never are at the beginning of those things. And then you get punched and get angry and shit, and then all of a sudden.
Well, I think Milton almost died So we kind of called it out. Like I was like, well, hey, do we want to do another? We'll just, we'll use more rules next time. And that guy and a couple guys were looking at me like, no, I think we're good.
We need some more rules. We need some more rules.
Milton earned it. But here's the thing: cops weren't called. There was no like giant butthurt long term.
Yes, true.
Okay, Milton said, "Yep, you fucking got me, and I deserved it."
Oh, so
Milton's a very proud guy, dude. He was a dick, and for whatever reason, get clocked like that uppity assholeness, calmed down a little bit. As it turns out.
As it tends to do. Or maybe what is the problem is we're missing Taekwondo guy right now.
Taekwondo guy.
But I mean, is that
dude.
not?
He sold me a car.
Is that not the pool hall video we watched earlier? I mean, that was Taekwondo.
Yeah, it was. No, actually, the pool hall video was setting the balls. His woman is being attacked. I mean, it was lightning. You saw it. That shit was. There was no thought. You fucking kidding me? No, Armin tapped.
Training.
He tapped. That Armin was fucking patient. And then, Milton, I think his head might have actually, snapped a bone in his head.
Jesus.
Milton didn't look right, and his whole head was swelled for like a week.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was 19-year-old Mal.
Yeah. How the knuckles holding up these days? You got problems from them?
No, actually, I don't. But my wrists can give me issue. The impact on my wrist, because of that, I don't play bass and guitar. But they're fat, like somebody that's worked a bunch of construction. I've done construction and desk shit. Yeah. Anyway,
you pretty ridiculous.
They're good.
Yes,
they're still working.
If you've joined us somewhat recently, this is Mal. Well, welcome, guitar player, Atomic Annie over on. I'll pull that back up. Hold on.
A bit of a character.
We are just chatting. The summary here is in the description, but I'll give you another quick plug here. I'm clicking on the wrong screen. There we go. Atomic Annie OP1. There we go. We'll be live again this Thursday, right?
Yep, sure will.
Give him a check out. Throw him a follow. It's pretty awesome stuff. And you and we're going to whip up some kind of pop song and become famous. What do you say?
Man, fucking why not, honestly. Might as well. Shit. I'm just not going to. Oh, my God. There are certain things I'm not doing.
We're going to wear suits. We're going to get bowl cuts.
Awesome.
Going to have matching. No, whatever. I don't know. We'll let it percolate. We'll come up with something good. I just want one, man. I just want one of those Coming to Take Me Away type songs.
Hear me out here.
Go ahead.
Swedish metal band.
like a black metal or whatever?
Yes. You're on vocals, John. All I need you to do is scream with that vocal problem that you're having right now constantly.
I got the voice for it right now. Yeah. There you go. Like fucking, what's they're called? Dude, yeah, there's some, talk about living your own philosophy, man. They like kill each other and shit up there, don't they? Or at least that's what I used to read.
Oh, Sweden?
Maybe it wasn't Sweden. There's some group of like, I don't know if they call
the metal bands that got too serious about it, like rivalries.
They were like
yeah, that's
murder clubs that occasionally played music. Is basically what they became.
Yes, that happened. Yeah, that's like an Eastern Europe fucking thing anyway. Like they got ideas that Americans are like that, I think, or maybe just the old fucking genes are just too fucking strong. Whatever way it is, if America presents like Ozzy bites the head of a rubber bat, right? Well, they're about to actually eat the skull of a bat on stage, like for real.
They assume it was real. And they just,
yes, dude.
I guess we got to do that.
Well, they see us a video and they hear English, blah 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 blah.
We don't have budget. We don't have a budget for the props, so let's just get a real bat and let's just start eating shit on.
Well, there are people that actually did do that too, but I could just imagine some Swedish guy who can't speak English going, "Yeah, that."
It's like the least hardcore English accent too is the Swedes. So
yeah,
I'm for it. We'll come up with American Fun could be turned into a pretty good death metal song.
It's funny. I am a metal guy, but Atomic Annie isn't metal at all. It's just this fusion of weird, rock, grunge, electronica, EDM, prog rock. It's a blend.
Let me let's see what have we not touched upon yet from this initial a return to getting dopamine from actual achievement. I think we've talked about that a bit.
If you need to be punched in the face, chat, just hit me up in DM.
I want you to hit
you have to
me
fly to Dallas
as hard as you can. What is base God design, Mal?
Oh, right. Yeah, so I never expected you to actually read this shit out loud. It was about like half of it was just like notes for myself.
Yes, in Mal's defense, this wasn't like we weren't being
academic.
It was just a casual message.
So. No, it's cool. So what is it? I will, like my dad would say sin, and I kind of lean towards my dad's being correct. Well, we talked about the gospel of nice and the gospel of doom, which are absolutely not gospel or doctrine at all. So a souring of Christian ideology, and therefore Christian culture has occurred over the course of, hundreds of years. And so if you take those issues like gospel and nice, why do we want that? I would say that it's a vanity issue, but why do we want vanity? No self-fucking control, okay? Any passion, lust, greed, gluttony, whatever the unhealthy passion is, you let it go too far and you're fucking crazy. You're some brand of fucking crazy. You're some brand of fucked up for society, and you will affect society because society is humans, right? So, boil that down. Problem is us, or there is a problem in us, with us. And so, God's design in who and what we are in the most rudimentary ways, I think bypasses this sin issue, hence need for Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm not going to try to turn your show into Christian Bible Hour or nothing, but I'm just going to say...
Doesn't bother me, yeah.
Like, this is the purpose of Jesus. Jesus is known as the second Adam, the reboot, okay? To come and take the penalty of sin, or missing the mark, or gospel of nice shit, or gospel of doom shit, our human inclination to produce this horrible wokeism shit, which is just the flowering of it blooming. When it's small, it looks like nothing, but it grows into a great big zipper tits tree, right? Okay? So...
I'm listening. Go on. I'm soaking it. I'm just soaking it in.
Well, your smile made me laugh. But zipper sits tree. You should use that. Anyway,
tree. I got it right here. There's my tree.
Zipper tits tree. It's kind of it's singable. Singable enough.
It's behind the chat. No, I was saying I got a legit tree right here in my background.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, put a lot of work into this set, Mal.
There's a whole fucking forest back there, bro.
Look how real it is.
Yeah. So there's something inherently off in us that causes us to not control ourselves or see the end game of our own actions or society at large as actions. We have to go so fucking far until we get zipper tits tree. Okay? Do we really have to go that fucking far, or can we finally learn our lesson this time? And then can we extrapolate from that lesson and just apply to all? And I think that we start to boil down the nature of the creator of the universe is us, but we have strayed very far from it out of some type of adolescent circle jerk fest for thousands of years. That's what base God designed. That's what I'm talking about. I think we as humanity have strayed so far from it that we're now trying to even figure out what the basic tenets of it are, of God's actual design of us.
Do you think we've become too conscious? We're thinking too much, or are we thinking inwardly too much? Have we, are we
going to be able to think our way out?
I don't remember which branch of Christianity this is, but the worship of the God within and cautioning against that. Maybe that's even far outside of, maybe that's lots of religions say that, but
yeah, that's like New Age brands. I don't think any. There are some groups that would actually, Unitarians. Anyway, there's some Christians that basically accept the whole of New Age as being correct too.
Well, right? let me throw this at you different. I'm just trying to poke holes.
Maybe I misunderstood.
No, not at all. I'm curious how you think about a couple things. So like, to fix all the problems that you're talking about, sounds like people would become robotically perfect, which I imagine is not what you're saying.
No, that's not even possible. So I think
so. So the opposite version of what is the problem is maybe like, well, what is the goal? Like, what is that you can approach it from that direction? Thank you, David Nephilim. Oh, Nephilim Slayer. Nice. Speaking of that,
yeah.
But no comment.
Okay.
But yeah, so like, what would you turn us into to give us the ideal human world?
Why did Rome become great?
Racism.
Why? Well, so that we both know that's partially correct, but not the full truth.
No. I'll listen. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
No, that's hilarious.
You're being Socratic, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to be.
Yeah, sorry, jumped in there.
Yeah, no, Rome was great because they valued legacy. Honor was in the concept of legacy. Why are you spending so much on that time on that poetry today, young Marcus? Okay, don't you know that your family must build a legacy? And Marcus may have said, well, yes, and that is why I'm writing what I'm writing, right? And so they may disagree on the fundamental nature of what the task is that they're doing, but they both agree that the legacy of their house, the legacy of their family extended, and therefore the legacy of their nation mattered to them, and it was the primary flag, it was the primary true north for all fucking decisions. Stoicism worked with the legacy, okay? That's why Stoicism worked with them so well. It is what is practically good here. What will practically actually serve us and our nation long term. And so those that came up with the best methods were honored greatly, given wealth, given lands, promoted. You got the merit to make Rome great. You got the merit to make your household great. Here you go, kid. You've earned it. Says a Caesar, right? Mm-hmm. Or says a republic, because they valued the legacy. The worst thing that punishment you could ever give a Roman citizen was to erase them from history. It's the worst possible punishment. They didn't care about a death penalty for an action if they felt like they have furthered the legacy of their family, their house, their name, or their country. They didn't care about that. What's worse than anything, it's not even so much being slandered, because at least there's debate and truth might be able to be found with the Roman mentality. It was, if no one ever knows that I ever lived, why would I even want to do anything? Okay, that is the Roman mind. You talked about, history being, stuck in history. Anybody that appreciates. How often do you think of the Roman Empire, says the meme recently.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, every fucking day, actually. Because why did they fall? It's the greatest fucking lesson ever. Like, why did they fall? They become degenerate. Okay? They lost their self-discipline. They lost their love and appreciation for a legacy. And legacy, the concept from Christian worldview, is what is the legacy of God? And what we do in this life will echo in eternity. So this isn't about perfection. I mean, I can never be fucking perfect. You say the wrong word, I might pop you in the mouth. Like that's not possible. But what is possible is a perfect true north. It is possible to go legacy of the greatest honor ever. And that is where I'm going to set my life. And I'm going to go forward towards honor and legacy, and everything else I'm not going to worry about. So how fucking smart do you need to be to get that? Is that thinking your way out of a problem? A fucking retard can do great things. Sorry.
No, I'm thinking about what you're saying. It's I mostly like find myself in agreement. I think this is maybe I've become a bit more cynical in my old age.
Shrug it off.
Let me throw this at you here, and then maybe I'll let you go and you can go get your cigarette. But
I do want a cigarette.
we've been going about 2 hours now, so yeah, I got to get going here. Not too long anyway. But
Right on.
oh, come on, brain.
The brain is braining.
Well, so I think in my youth, there's that saying, any man under 30 who's not a liberal has no heart. Any man over 30 who's not conservative has no brain. Something like that. That actually might be Chesterton. I was definitely much more liberal. I was convinced, like I would say the communists seem to be convinced, that there is this system that can be applied to people. And if you can just figure out the right system,
right,
it'll all work. And what has repeatedly happened is that people, and maybe this hasn't been studied, but like maybe 300 people that would work, or 3,000. But certainly by the time you hit like 30 to 300,000, it seems like two great parents that teach everything right still end up with some psycho that just will not be part of that system. I mean, that's kind of maybe what the allegory of the fall of Satan is a little bit about. I don't know what you think about that, but I found it really, the whole famous quote by Satan is non serviam, like I don't serve, and yet I find myself saying that exact words to the powers, the human powers, that I think corruptly rule over my life. And so to me, there's not anything evil in choosing not to serve someone. It depends on who you're rebelling against. But I don't know that I believe anymore. Like, say you were able to convince everybody alive right now to follow honor, and all the other nuances of what
legacy.
It would. I believe it would fall apart in just a few generations. It just seems like that the culture doesn't, like, sooner or later, it just doesn't get properly transmitted.
Yeah. So and to speak to what you're talking about, there's a recent example. So the First Amendment is fan-fucking-tastic if your people are honest.
Right.
If you remove Christian morality from the equation, then it becomes a coliseum of who can lie the best.
One of the founding fathers said something like that, didn't they? Like, this will work great for a God-fearing people.
Yeah, well, yeah,
but
absolutely.
Once they lose,
you have a republic if you can keep it.
Yeah, I don't know that there is any system that will work for people that like are genuinely atheistic and self-centered.
Yeah. So atheistic and self-centered. Those people can't serve the legacy, so I'm going to push back on you. Okay, they can't serve what is good, right, and true, objective, good, right, and true. Okay, and it's not just that fucking mamby-pamby harm principle, because you could define that any way which you would want. Mm-hmm. Okay, in my personal opinion, I don't like Kant or Kant, whatever Kant.
However you say it, however you want. Are you talking about Emmanuel Kant? That guy?
Yeah. No, I was being funny about my pronunciation.
okay. I'm sorry. There's my autism.
He can't. He's Kant. Well, he's
taking you literally. See, I just did what I said earlier.
Well, I've done it 2-3 times. So I think you're winning on that autism metric.
Yeah, it's an
as in the least amount of tisms.
That's losing then from my scoreboard. So no,
are we really going to fucking compete on that? Because man.
So I'll draw out quickly here. So Socrates famously, he didn't write anything down, but if accounts of him are to be believed, didn't give a fuck about his own biological children. And when somebody's like, why don't you spend any time teaching these guys, and you're teaching all these other people, he's like, look at all these other great men's children. Their children the children of great men never turn out great. And there is a lot of truth to that, even from like Donald Trump to Trump Jr. I'm not trying to knock Trump Jr., but he ain't Trump Sr., you know what I mean? It's So what sort of value system could be put in place that would account for that sort of just natural genetic variance?
Well, I mean, I think it could be just as simple as this. I don't think it's genetic at all, Mr. Ward.
Okay.
I think it's fucking suffering. I think great men are capable of insulating their children from harm.
So
a baby bird don't learn to fly very well unless it's fucking booted out of the nest eventually, you know?
So there it was a parenting issue.
Yeah, it's always been a false empathy issue, actually.
False empathy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, my daughter is going to suffer in life. It is going to happen. It fucks with me as a dad.
That's the one part of this whole 2 hours.
Oh my God, that's the clippable moment.
My daughter is going to suffer.
I thought it was the tree thing. She's
No,
she's going to.
You're making a lot of sense.
There's nothing I can do to prevent it. Okay, all I can do is be there to guide her through it, or be there at the end of it once she'll actually talk to me. And because my daughter's in her late teens, if I had a son, I mean, yeah, I'm just throwing him out in the fucking wolves, so girls get better treatment. I think that's okay, but my son would literally be fucking digging ditches, because that's what Gramps did to my ass, and it made me a better man, right? So suffering when you adapt, okay, and to overcome is what makes greatness. Greatness never comes from being handed shit.
Right.
Okay? It can't.
Well, do you think like Trump Jr. just needs to suffer a little more till he turns into Trump Sr.?
Yep.
I certainly can't say that I know that you're wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't know the man well enough, but by the metrics that we're utilizing right now, yeah. Yeah, look, the people that have gone through shit, I mean, not all people that have gone through shit become great men. Not saying
that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like,
I'm saying okay, all right, I see the tactic you're using.
Suffering does not always make you a good
equal
person.
Greatness. No, it's equal. It is suffering plus striving to overcome, if the person chooses that, equals greatness. And a constant and consistent, well-disciplined striving.
Do you believe
without those two together, then it doesn't make any sense.
So final thing I'll throw at you, and then I'll let you get that cigarette. But like someone like Napoleon, I feel like would have risen up in any culture that he was born in, because he would seem to be wired to want to be on top. And just like there's some people that seem to be wired that way, I think there's also people that seem to be wired to not give a shit at all about being on top. Like even myself, I'm not materialist. Like I see through logic and experience and suffering, I see the need to get involved, and through maybe something sort of like honor, I can't just walk away without doing, I feel like I got to try a little bit, even by virtue of how much I used to bitch about how stupid everything was when I was a kid. But I do believe, maybe we differ here, that two great, excellent parents can have a shitty child through no fault of their own, and there is no amount of parenting. And so that's, to me, where the idea of a system will break down.
Okay.
You just can't account for that sort of thing.
Right.
You have any thoughts on that? Oh, real quick. Lord of the Rings. My granddad would always say, everyone needs their ass kicked, sometimes by life, sometimes by everyone else, but everyone needs to get their ass kicked. There you go.
Man, Lord of the Rings, for real, dude. Yeah, everyone needs to get their ass kicked at least once. Mine, half a dozen times.
Well, even if you go as extreme in a thought, like say a kid with Down syndrome, you're not going to turn him into Isaac Newton. Like you just won't.
Of course not.
But there's very much smaller degrees of mental variation that everyone looks normal, but who knows what little.
All right. All things being equal, if we're going to utilize debate rules here, if all things are equal between this person that has your personal genetics, okay?
Half of them anyway.
No, let's say yours. Okay, got you a fucking clone, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Right, yeah.
You're not genetically.
Let's do it.
There's nothing wrong with you. You got a sharp mind. Your body works just fine. You got you a fucking clone. One clone. You give him everything he ever asks for with no discipline. Okay? And you don't teach him the value of honor, what's good, true, right, lovely, just, beautiful. You don't teach him any of that shit. Okay? You let the internet teach him. And it's your fucking genes, bro. The other kid is raised by a Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
Hardcore, fucking instilled all day, and is given nothing without extreme diligence. And is allowed to suffer for his own good. The full weight of his errors. He kills somebody in the street, he goes to prison for a while. Okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, going off Roman law for citizens at that time. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all things being equal, which of these creatures is going to be a piece of shit, and which of these creatures is going to be probably a pretty good fucking guy, and good for humanity and society?
Assume the obvious answers to that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if we're going to be all debating.
So then what the hell is the parable of the prodigal son supposed to be about?
Well, that's more about the love of the father than it is about condoning the shitty behavior of the prodigal son.
I don't know if I agree.
Really? You see that as a condoning of his shittiness?
I think that's the most interesting parable in the Bible. Maybe one of the most. Not that I know them all off the top of my head, but I'll leave it. You don't have to agree with me.
No, sure. It's all good.
To me, it's this father has two sons. They're twins. Essentially, they're the same, and one stays home and listens and does all that, and the other says, the other's high in disagreeableness or something.
Yeah.
And he goes out and he fucks up, but he realizes how he fucks up and he comes back. To me, the message of that is the father teaching the lesson that it's better to go out as a man and fuck up, and then because you're actually not a piece of shit, like that one son lived his life.
Yeah, I've heard this many times. And I've gone back and reread it, and I can't point to a particular word, okay? I could just say, I've done wild shit and I've learned my lesson. And then I've watched my real-life brother absolutely destroy his life, right? And then come back, but not for realsies, though, right? And be given grace.
Well, maybe in the parable that he was genuinely penitent or whatever. Right?
Okay, that is a prerequisite in the parable. That is correct. He actually saw the error of his ways and stopped eating with the pigs and humbled himself and went back to his father. That's literally what it says. I get that. I do understand that it's better to go out and fuck up than to never go out at all, never to venture, never to adventure. Never to try something and being too afraid to make mistakes.
Those adventures
totally get all
give
that.
you the wisdom to then be a good parent, don't they? Like it's hard to be a good father if you never gotten a couple scraps. You know what I mean? Like
I agree. I agree. That's a really good point. My analysis regarding the prodigal son and what I said is that this story is told from a position where it's like, go and be that piece of shit, guys. It'll be okay because God is so good that he is just going to accept you right back in. You don't even have to do anything. And we got grace for you. And the gospel of nice is here for you.
I see what you're saying. So that's not
Mr.
how I look at it. Yeah, no, not that
Mr.
at all.
Shithead, you go be as shitty as you want, and the gospel of nice will always be graceful to you.
It's the paradox to me is that to be. I totally agree. Like I don't read it that way, but
I know.
Be a good.
I just see both sides.
Well,
is what I'm saying.
If I can compress it into one sentence, to be a good father, you got to be a wild son. Would you say that that's somewhat true?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like it is somewhat true. Obviously, not too wild.
Yeah, well,
but also very much so. You got to be wild enough, or you're not.
I don't think it's so much the consequences of the errors regarding wildness that makes a father a good father, but masculinity it requires that you be somewhat wild.
Right.
Okay.
Undomesticated.
You can't be a man and be feared by no one.
Even like this is happening now, this whole what women are attracted to, and I don't know about your age group, but the younger kids, it's all this Chad and Stacy shit. I'm sure you're on the internet to see that stuff. That, now all of a sudden 80% of women are sleeping with 20% of men. And that's the natural primate state of things.
Yeah, that is actually primate.
And so, it's we're regressing in a lot of ways in these animalistic behaviors, but you have there's always this paradoxical thing going on with genetics, which is what is bad for the individual can be very good for the species. If all the genetically inferior men, and I'm not saying like short guys or anything like that, but
Sure.
so many diseases have spread because we have the technology to, you can still have a healthy life, but then the next generation dies a little sooner, and so on and so on. The species would be much happier if all the, tiny percentage of people, like I wear glasses. I said that in the last show. So, get it back to perfect eyesight and have perfect teeth and perfect hearing and all that.
Yep.
A lot of us would have to die, and I'd be one of them. So,
Sure.
and yet that would be fantastic in the long run for the species.
Well, I disagree. I think that you're only looking at it physically. Okay. So what is Turbo Slut 5000, OnlyFan girl who makes $10 million in 3 years?
Yeah.
And a CEO of J.C. Penney's who doesn't actually care for her. Okay.
Yep.
What kind of offspring are they actually going to fucking produce, John?
Well, I look at it more like Elon Musk. He is the most.
You could, yeah.
Well, he is the closest to a natural primate that he's high status and women like status. He's not a supermodel.
Yep.
He's not even in
Totally
good shape.
that. Yep.
But it's that status thing, and so I kind of suspect he's doing this intentionally. He's just impregnating any and everyone that will fuck him because he's just playing a numbers game.
Well, I mean, it's what they want, right? It's what the leftist degenerates want, is complete bodily autonomy and just fuck everything. I mean, isn't that what leftism actually boils down to? Doesn't it always actually boil down to any particular thing just rolls back, if you look just a little further back, that they just want to fuck anything that they want to fuck, and they want you to be proud of them for it.
I'm not convinced that, I think men and women are different, and I think a woman that fucks 10 trillion dudes is worse in a way. I know this is an unpopular whatever.
Very bad luck.
Very
good key.
From an evolutionary biology perspective, is you get pregnant as a woman, that's your next 9 months of your life, and you have this limited. But if you're trying to propagate your genes as a woman, then you're going to try to be very selective in your mate.
Yep.
You make this.
I get that.
And the male. Now, they're kind of ignoring the fact that we're people and have feelings, but they like to treat us as though we all just want to fuck everyone possible and then run away and go do it again. I think that's a vast oversimplification, but that is how we got good genes in a paradoxical way. It was, if you believe that humanity's been around and evolved and wasn't created.
No, microevolution at the very least, yeah.
So, I certainly haven't come up with any sort of answer or even a response to what you said, but it's a part of what is the problem to me. Every time I feel like I'm on a good track of a personal system, and Marcus Aurelius is a great example.
Yep.
There's this other weird pattern, this unseen force that, I don't want to say yin yang. It doesn't feel quite like that, but I mean, in a sense, it is. It's
sure.
I don't know. Maybe is this all totally outside of our control? Are we just locked into this? Do you? Let's end on this, and then I swear to God, I'm fucking done. Do you believe we are actually conscious and have free will, or do you believe that we're following?
What's the point of believing otherwise?
Oh, that's fair. I feel like I feel like
right now I'm having a conversation with John Ward.
I sometimes I like to think it's me that's coming up with these thoughts, but sometimes I feel like it's not. And now this will be my last thought. As a musician who improvises, best shit you've ever played, was it conscious?
Okay, so
it's a good point, isn't it?
I get it. There is a spiritual, there is an unseen, there is a magic.
Do you believe in the muse? I didn't just play that; it just came through me, like that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, I think that what we're doing is tapping into the infinite nature of the image of God that we are. I'm telling you my take.
No,
This
yeah,
is my,
I'm listening.
this is my take. I love this topic. We are pattern recognition machines. I memorized thousands, if not millions, of patterns in my life as a musician as it relates to music. Okay. It's somewhere in the back of my head. They're all there, and they're all swimming in this goo that is my subconscious. I also believe that in the unseen, spirits, absolutely. If you're Christian, you believe in spirits. You believe in your own. You believe in the dead. You believe in angels. You believe in demons. I mean, if you don't, you're kind of some weird brand, right? Anyway, so these things, all of this, what you're talking about in the holy shit, where did that come from moment, where it is magical, is a combination of all of the above, not one, in my opinion. Because after experiencing it literally thousands of times, I mean, I've produced, I don't know, maybe, 1,500 pieces of music in my life. Okay. Like a lot. And that's produced, like, not 2 records, but, I made it and it went nowhere. Made it and recorded it, or made it, didn't record it, but could replay it for a time in my life. Yeah, 1,500 compositions, right? And so, and then the improv. It happens once, twice, a jam. Sometimes that one night, I mean, I'll just feel like I did terrible. And it's because the only thing I could pull from that night wasn't like the big magical moment. No, it was just the soup that was running around the back of my head of the millions of different freaking patterns I memorized that amalgamated into what came out. I go back and re-listen to the show. I'm like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I just didn't have the magic that night, right? I don't even know how well I did until later.
Another good point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't tell. Like, I might be feeling like I am doing the shittiest fucking work I've ever done in my life. And then I go back and listen to it. I'm like, no, that was great. What the fuck is wrong with me? Well, I didn't have the magic that night. I didn't have that, oh, wow, moment, right? Which is not real magic. It's just,
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Holy fuck. What the fuck was that? Can we redo that? That shit is surprise time. So yeah, it feels like magic. It looks like magic. Is it all just pattern recognition, pattern, repetition? I don't think so. I think that if we're only pattern recognizers and pattern repeaters with slight amalgamations here and there, if that's literally all we are, then why do we even want to fucking create in the first place? Well, I'll tell you the truth. I did want the gaggle of the Whammons to like me very much because I was the rock star on stage with flowing blonde hair and fucking ripping the solos and one on each leg. I totally wanted all that as 14-year-old me.
Sure.
100 fucking %. Conan the Barbarian with a guitar, bro. 100%. Don't get a choice on the haircut these days, but there we go. So the magic in it is both beyond and just us. It's a combo.
But is that not self-refuting?
No. 2 things can be true at once.
No, I agree. I think when you've been around, you probably
when did I refute that?
Well, no, I just mean anything paradoxical is just meaning that paradox is like 2 things that are true at the same time, but they're mutually exclusive. So, you mean
inspired of the spirit and inspired of your subconscious?
Yes,
and it blending together.
My greatest work, which is not that great, but most of it I've never published anywhere, is exactly like you described. While I'm making it, there's almost a complete lack of what's even, like when it's really clicking.
Yeah.
I'm not there, if that makes any sense. And the more not there I can be, the better it can be. Yeah, I've learned that. And then but that kind of has this disconcerting realization, which is who fucking made that? And I'm
It's
not.
you.
I mean, so
And not you.
well, yeah. So there's the paradox. That's what I mean by
Okay, I get it. Well, once you find a paradox, didn't you say that that's when you've really found something
I
worth
feel like
actually fucking
all
talking
these
about?
what is the problems is when you start reducing it and you spit out a sentence that is paradoxical. Well,
Yeah.
it must be these two things at the same time, but these two things cannot fucking happen at the same time.
Well, they can. It's just you can't rationalize why or how. I know that they do.
I certainly know.
massive
Yeah,
amounts of experience.
I know it happens exactly.
Right. Yeah,
But
so
then you
it's
try
not
to
matter whether or
use
not it is happening.
These shitty words that we use to try to lob at stuff and to try to, and
No,
you
I
just
get that.
can never get there.
Yeah,
And-
I trip up on it. My God, man, I worked so hard at being better at communication because I would try to say something as a child and be like, what are you even talking about? I don't understand. Why are you talking about the nature of existence? You're 6. And literally I was.
Yep.
I'm like, Mom, isn't it amazing that we exist? She goes, what?
Sounds familiar.
What?
No.
Well, sure, sweetheart. That's great. And then I said it to my great grizzly of a shithead biological father, and he's like, uh-huh. And
Life
I'm
is
like,
hell.
no. The fact that we exist and can experience things, remember them and analyze them and feel them is extraordinary. I couldn't say the words until I was like 17.
Right. But the
not like
concept
this.
is there. Yeah.
I couldn't say the words, and I was struggling, and I was so frustrated. I would listen to old people talk as a child, right? I was interested in what old people have to say because I'm like, okay, no one can fucking understand me. I keep getting in trouble at school for being disrespectful. And what it was, I was talking over people's heads about shit they didn't fucking understand, so they took it as some kind of, well, disciplinary moment. I got my ass paddled. This is back in the day when, there was corporal punishment in the
Sure.
country. And I got my ass beat, literally. They would have me dancing because I would start laughing if they didn't hit hard enough, And so Principal Ellis, dude, he could swing it. He was the smallest man, and he had the stingiest freaking paddling that you can imagine. Anyway, all of this is, oh, geez, I really lost my train of thought.
That's because you're answering it.
I was reminiscing into the age. Yeah, answering this question, it does lock you
I
up.
found that happens. You like the more you know that you're about to say the right thing, the less the words start to come.
Yeah, I've got 150 gigs of RAM right now, and you keep pressing this, and I'm at 150.
That's a good analogy.
It locked me up. I'm at 150.
Well, we can keep talking about this many more times, and I'd be happy to
Yeah.
if you're down. If you want to figure out your fucking camera situation.
Yeah, bro. Fucking sorry about that. I will figure it out. A
Just
day
kidding.
prior, rather than 30 minutes prior.
No, it's all good on mine.
I started troubleshooting literally 15 minutes prior to us being on. And
it's Pictish in the chat. Are
Yeah.
these two youngsters paying? Oh, my God.
oi,
We did the whole
Pictish.
show about you, Pictish, and how you don't watch YouTube anymore because you're savage.
it's good to see
That's
you.
incredible. I'd love to get him on with us sometime and hear his thoughts on this. But go have your
That would be
cigarette.
fucking great.
You're pretty consistently free on Mondays, right? Is that somewhat true?
Yeah, I can do Mondays, man.
I'm not
Mondays,
gonna-
Fridays,
yeah,
Saturdays, Sundays.
Drag you out
Yeah.
here every week. I'm more thinking of trying to repeat this theme of Manthropology, which I quite enjoy.
John, I don't really have a good outlet for discussing these fucking things, and there aren't many people on this planet I can really actually fucking talk to them about, bro.
I think there's a lot of people
So-
on the internet that like talking about this, and we're all in the same fucking situation. I don't mind
Yeah.
if there's only
So I'm in.
50 people that want to watch
That's
it.
my answer.
Yeah, thank you, William Maines. There he is, Paddle Survivor here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get it. It's this: the internet is a tool, and this is to me what it's
Yeah.
meant for. We've all exploded across the face of the planet, but now with technology, we can slowly reconnect. Pictish, I got a little bit of tingle in my brain. There you go. He must have known we were talking about him. Dude, that's sick. What is that? Is that a troll?
I got this in it's an actual Trump troll doll. I got it in I got it in Las Vegas in like 2017, back when me and the missus could, afford vacations.
I feel you on that.
And yeah, fuck, dude. My financial situation was great back then. It's fucked now. Hopefully not for much longer, but it is. But I saw that and I'm like, I bet you the left thinks that's some kind of own or something. I'm like, darling, I gotta have it. So she's like, okay. So I bought the troll doll. And I'm like, no, that's the greatest thing in the world, man. It's kind of a cell phone because they think that they were trying to,
There's so many
own
things
him.
like that. Yeah, you just embrace the meme. You wear it.
Yeah.
You get a little studio set up there. Put that thing as your centerpiece.
Well, I'll definitely. Well,
I'm sure they make
there's
a
HD
blonde.
camera.
I'm sure they make a blonde
see it.
troll doll wig you can wear if you really want to.
I think I do have some kind of crazy wig. Yeah, I've got a Viking horn helmet with long blonde locks.
The more mimetic, the better in my book. It's that we have this weird window in time to be whoever we want to be, which to me is very uniquely American, which I think has yet to be fully defined. I think that's kind of what we're starting to do.
That might get me some of those Pictish berries, those picked berries that were blue colored, that would make you trip balls before you chop the heads off of your enemies in the wars. In the long, long ago.
His fucking voice. Pictish, Rumble is shit.
It's an honor. I'm not making fun of nobody.
No, yeah. So he's asking why I'm not on Rumble anymore, because every time I stream to Rumble, the stream dies. And my theory is Rumble he's talking about gatekeeping. They've made their choices on who they want to be big on Rumble, and I ain't one of them.
Well, fuck that shit. So, we're going to make it happen.
No, I'm perfectly happy to do this kind of stuff.
Right.
I think if anything, I just like finding people and talking about this shit. So anyway, maybe we will continue to do Manthropology on Monday. Starts with an M. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But you and I will be in touch. Thank you for spending more than 2.5 hours of your evening chatting about this stuff that most people don't care about. But I need this outlet, so maybe you.
I think there's at least 50 in there that care about. I think a lot of people care about this stuff, John.
I got to package.
Honestly, the more we talk about it, the better we'll get at explaining it.
I agree. That is exactly what I want to kick off. And so we'll get you on here. I know Zeb's in the chat, Pictish, we're going to never talk him into it, William Maines, all these guys. So that would be awesome. But thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night. Do you want to plug your anything you got out there that people
I
can
am
watch?
Mal. I play guitar and do some singing in the band Atomic Annie.
Yes,
we can be found on X at Atomic Annie OP1 and on YouTube at Atomic Annie Music. And we play every Thursday, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
There you go. I finally caught one. It was a great time.
Thanks, man.
It is more cerebral. I think you're like a musician's musician, maybe is what I would say.
I am. I am. Can do other things, but I am.
So we're gonna fix that problem you have of being too good at actual music, and I'm gonna write some lyrics like penis and butt, and penis and butt. And you and I are we're gonna win some Grammys. Damn it.
Okay.
So, but no, it was awesome to have you. And I never really know how to fucking end a show. So the show's over.
Very good.
Everybody leave. Mal, thank you. I will catch up with you in the XDMs later, but I'm going home and going to bed, so my voice stops sounding like this.
All right, sweet. Godspeed.
Take it easy and chat. Thank all of you for joining me. I'll give you a quick read off here if you're still hearing me. Mal, you can bounce. I'm just going to say hi to the chat. Cool. Nico Blico, good to see you. Lord of the Ree, always great to have you. Ryan Mobley, Rumble is meh. I only go there for Salty. Salty Cracker's a good dude. I like his stuff. It just doesn't work great. Juan Ramirez, always good to have you. Pictish is asking Mal a question. I'm not sure if you're still listening, but he's
I'm here. Yeah, there's still a Discord, Pictish. It's just, dead. Hardly anybody using it, but it's there. I don't remember how to get to it, actually.
To centralize all that. We're trying to figure out some kind of website that people will actually all go to the same place and talk to each other. But we'll figure it out. Yeah. Modema Rose, good to see you. Ryan Mobley, I think I might have caught you already, but thank you. David Olerking, always good to see you. Just saying, Red Baron, Parody Bear, some regulars. I know I saw Zeb in here and some other people. So tomorrow night, We will be back. The Young Bucks are going to be doing a slightly different show on Tuesdays moving forward. It's going to be a bit more of a recap of the election and politics and things that happened in the state of Pennsylvania. Thursday, they will do their regular cider house. We'll have our new buddy Landon on there. That's kind of more culture, drinking a beer, talking about more the 20 to 30-year-old sort of world and the way they see things. But awesome to have you all. I find this sort of stuff super interesting. By all means, if you want to jump on a show with me and have the means, which is basically a camera, computer, and a microphone, hit me up in Twitter. I got to stop talking. My voice is going. I will see you guys tomorrow live on some sort of news version of Cider House. Take it easy. That is it for today. I'm John Ward. Until next time, remember, you are a world champion. There you are. You are a world champion. Don't let your memes be dreams.